A call to order. This is the Granbury City Council regular meeting. It is 6 p.m. on Tuesday, October the 3rd, 2023. We are at Granbury City Hall, 116 West Bridge Street in Granbury, Texas. Now I'm going to call Mr. Terry Lubin, who will do the invocation for us. If we could please stand.
Thank you, Mayor. Heavenly gracious Father, Lord, we give you praise and honor for who you are and that you are our Creator and for your blessing in our life. But more importantly, Lord, for your Son, Jesus Christ, who is our Lord and Savior. Lord, we claim the promise that you have made to us that you will never leave us nor forsake us. So, Lord, your presence is welcome here tonight. And, Lord, I pray that the Holy Spirit hover over this assembly. And, Lord, that you guide, guard, and direct those that you have put in positions to make decisions, that you give them insights, wisdom, knowledge, and the conviction to make the decisions that they make. Lord, we pray for our servicemen and women. We pray for those in our city and our county who protect and serve. Lord, keep them safe. Guard our words, the thoughts that we think, the actions we take, the words that we speak, so that each and every one would glorify and honor you. And it's in your name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. It's our great pleasure tonight to have the Granbury High School Marine Corps Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps present the colors. Gentlemen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Remain standing.
Carry, go. Ready, go, up. March. Forward, out, left, right, left, 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 right, left, 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 right, cover right, up, over, goes, ready, go.
Thank you. Today's youth, tomorrow's leaders. Thank you, gentlemen. I hate to tell you, it's all downhill from here. That's great. I tell you, just having the young people from Granbury High School in attendance is an honor and a pleasure. They are such a delight. So we're going to move right to number 4, proclamation and presentation. City Council, City Manager issue encouraging statements recognizing city staff. Mr. Kaufman.
Well, thank you, Mayor, Council. I do want to brag on staff again as we continue to endure the rebuilding of our system, network system, computer system since the hack. We're making big progress. We can't announce what's almost up, but there's a bunch of things fixing to start happening that'll re-energize everybody to be able to use their electronic equipment. There's a learning curve. We're going to go with that with the employees going to Microsoft 11. So it's a whole different look, and you got to learn that all over again. And so we're excited to need to teach everybody how to operate their computer again, probably. But I appreciate the employees being patient, bearing with us. We have had experienced 2 turnovers due to the stress of this situation. We hate that, but we are moving forward to get it resolved. So,
Council, any comments? Ditto on what Mr. Kaufman says here. It's been a chore much more for the staff than anyone else. Certainly, unless council's missing their iPads, I don't know. It's you know, you see it when you come downstairs. But again, I'm going to come back and say the camaraderie, the team, the work, or the team playing attitude that has occurred as a result of this has just been nothing short of outstanding. They just step in, help, make sure it gets done. Not that we haven't missed the computers, but they're getting it done. I'm going to move right to number 5 now. I'm going to mention that we have a busy agenda, but this is public comments on agenda items for non-public hearing agenda items. Carla, I don't have anything except for a public hearing. And public hearing, we will open the public hearing and allow you to speak during that section if you would have something to say at the public hearing. So there's no one else? No one. Okay. We'll go to the consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda, routine or previously discussed items, and will be approved with one motion. However, should a member of the City Council wish to discuss any item, said item may be removed from the consent agenda and considered under the deliberation agenda. Council, anybody want to pull the minutes off and deliberate it? No? No. Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Mr. Bale makes a motion.
Second.
Mr. Corrigan seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Then we will approve the consent agenda 6-0. Deliberation agenda. I'm going to kick it right off here with 7.1. This is to discuss and consider awarding the contract to construct the Community Development Block Grant drainage project located near Pearl Street and Park to Texas Chile, Inc. in the amount of $586,141. Mr. Kaufman?
thank you. As you may be aware, this is our second ever community block grant to receive. We've had a lot of obstacles in our way to get this far. We finally received bids and opened them. And we have Chris Hay with Improtech Hibbs and Todd here to make a presentation and a recommendation to award the construction for the project. So, Mr. Hay, go right ahead.
Yes, good evening. Chris Hay with EHT, the engineer record on the project. We opened bids for the project on September 21st. We received 5 bids. The low bidder was Texas Chile out of Kingwood, Texas. After review of their bid and checking references, we are recommending award to Texas Chile in the amount of $586,141. So that's our recommendation to move forward. I'd be happy to add any information to that or answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Chris. Also, I would like to point out that the 2022 bond funds were procured as to make the match for this project. And this is I don't know if you looked on your agenda packet, but it's a much needed drainage improvement during the 2016 floods and I think the 2015 floods. There was an apartment complex that was flooded and people had to be evacuated. And this will help remediate that going forward. And the new apartment owner to the south of the picture there has provided some of the right-of-way for the storm detention area, And then the Woods Apartment obviously donated some right-of-way on their property as well. So we had to work through that to get the property donated, but at the end of the day, it's a win-win situation for everybody. The grant is for $350,000. We've got administration for the grant project to pay for that, and then the engineering on top of that, along with the match for the construction funds. We budgeted $400,000 in those 2022 bond funds for that, which is more than enough to cover the match. So I just want to cover that with everybody to understand exactly where the funds are coming from. But this is a long-term project that will benefit the community for the rest of its life. So we're excited to be able to finally address this area and get $350,000 from Texas Community Block Grant Program. Any questions? I'll be happy to answer them as well.
No questions? Okay. It's not a public discussion item, but do I hear a motion to award the contract to construct the Community Development Block Grant Drainage Project located near Pearl Street and Park to Texas Chili, Inc. in the amount of $586,141? Dr. Wadley?
So moved.
Mr. Wadley?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Burwell. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. It passes 6-0. Thank you. Number 7.2, this will be a public hearing. We'll hear from staff and then we'll open it up for public. Consider the following request of Granbury Nissan. Number 1, adopt ordinance number 23-64 to approve a future land use plan amendment from retail office to commercial. Number 2, adopt ordinance number 23-65 to approve a change of zoning from interim holding to heavy commercial. Number 3, ordinance number 23-66 to approve a specific use permit to allow auto sales, used, and automobile repair major and automobile repair minor in a heavy commercial zoning district. And number 4, to preliminary plat a 7.46-acre tract of the Joshua Minute Survey, abstract number 351 as Lot 1, Block 1 of Granbury Nissan. The property is addressed as 4900 East U.S. Highway 377. Mr. Kaufman.
You know about this project. We did a development agreement with them to allow them to move forward and submit the plat. And so this is a long time coming. I know Belinda Kelly's in the audience with the engineer, Bill Baird, and we appreciate y'all being here. And I'll turn it over. Not only will I turn over 7.2, but all the items through 7.10 will just directly communicate with Kara for efficiency tonight and allow me not to have to comment. But thank you. We'll turn it over to Community Development Director Kara Wawi to go through this agenda item as well as the others as we move forward.
Thank you, sir. So we have seen this before. Again, there is a development agreement which would provide for the on-site sewer facilities in light of the current moratorium. On your screen here, we have the site location map. You're familiar with these maps. As you can see, to the east, west, and south is undeveloped, and to the north is automobile dealerships. This site is generally compatible with its surroundings, and we'll take you quickly through the remainder of the slides. This is the current comprehensive plan. They're requesting a change from recommended uses that would allow primarily retail and office uses to a designation of commercial, which is appropriate for the proposed automobile dealership with its associated repair facilities. You see the dark red is the heavy commercial designation, and the lighter red is the retail office designation. So that's a comprehensive plan amendment. These are the considerations. I would incorporate the staff report to the record. The request meets the considerations for the amendment to the future land use plan. This map shows the existing zoning of interim holding, which is, as it says, a holding district until the time of development. Development is here with proposal for heavy commercial zoning district compatible with the car dealerships to the north. These are the considerations for the change of zoning. The request meets those considerations. And for the specific use permit requests, there are 3, each associated with automobile sales and having their own supplemental standards. This is a site plan. You'll notice in your packet there's a condition to require landscaping. I would note and thank the applicant for submitting a landscape in advance. Of course, you're aware we don't make changes between the Planning Zoning Commission and the City Council, but at a high-level view on the landscaping, it appears they will be meeting the landscape in the zoning code. So we thank them for the opportunity to consider that. This is the specific use permit considerations, and the proposal is meeting these considerations. The business will be a good fit in this area. The plat that's requested would plat the site in one lot. It's currently not platted. And this is the preliminary plat drawing. I think there's 2 sheets here, but that shows the fire lanes and all the pertinent easements, the drainage areas, and so on that are requirements for plats. Just 1 page, sorry about that. There is a variance requested not to provide access in all directions. And the city engineer, as well as the Development Review Committee, that's staff group, has reviewed this and is recommending approval. Public notice was provided as required. We've received no comments at all on this proposal. The Planning and Zoning Commission considered this at September 11th meeting. They recommended approval of all the items. The specific use permit subject to conditions, and that's why I mentioned the landscaping. It looks like the applicant will be able to satisfy the landscaping. And then the other 2 are standard conditions there at the bottom of your screen. And this is the plat recommendation for your Planning and Zoning Commission. Our staff recommends approval of all of the items, the same conditions as mentioned prior, as well as for the plat. These are your voting options for the future land use plan amendment, the change of zoning, and the SUP. And the next slide shows the preliminary plat voting options. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Council, questions?
Just one quick question.
Mr. Vail?
So when this gets built where the current Nissan is now, they'll vacate that and move down to the new property, and that property vacated will be up some other use, correct?
I'll try to address that. Ms. Kelly is here, could probably fill that in, but they do plan on utilizing that facility as well for their tractor business and whatever else they decide to do at some point. But I know that they're excited about moving forward and getting the new building, and Nissan is certainly prodding the way for that, and we've been talking about it for about 5 years up here. So congratulations on getting it to this point.
Thank you.
Okay. Other questions here? No? I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. Does anybody want to speak on this matter? I see no one rising, so I will close the public hearing. Okay. So we have 3 ordinances, a specific use permit, and a preliminary plat. Is that right? And we need 4 votes on each. Okay. Okay, 4 votes. It's not 4 to pass. Okay, got it. Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve ordinance number 23-64 to approve a future land use plan amendment from retail office to commercial?
So moved.
Okay, Mr. Rodriguez makes a motion.
Second.
Mr. Wadley seconds. No discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. I hear no nays. The ordinance 2364 passes 6-0. Do I hear a motion to adopt ordinance number 23-65 to approve a change of zoning from interim holding to heavy commercial?
So moved.
Mr. Vail.
Second.
Mr. Vail makes a motion. Mr. Corrigan seconds. Discussion? No. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. I hear no nays. It passes 6-0. Do I hear a motion to approve ordinance number 23-66 to approve a specific use permit to allow auto sales used in automobile repair major and automobile repair minor in a heavy commercial zoning district.
So moved.
Ms. Burwell makes a motion.
Second.
Mr. Vale seconds. Discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. There are no nays. Ordinance number 23-66 approved 6-0. Do I hear a motion to approve preliminary plat of a 7.468 acre tract of the Joshua Minute Survey Abstract number 351 as Lot 1, Block 1 of Granbury, Nissan? The property is addressed as 4900 U.S. Highway 377.
So moved.
Including, that would include all of the variances as detailed.
So moved as presented.
Okay. Dr. Wadley makes a motion.
Second.
Mr. Rodriguez seconds. Discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. It passes 6-0. I believe that's all of the ordinance HGPs there. Thank you. Thank you all. That one is approved. We're going right to 7.3. 2 is a public hearing. We'll open later. Consider a request of Realty Capital Management to preliminary plat of 47.271 acre tract of the Marcus Smith Survey, abstract number 504, as lots 1 through 6, Block 1, lots 1 through 27, Block 2, lots 1 through 3, Block 3, lots 1 through 11, Block 4, lots 1 through 4, Block 5, lots 1 through 4 and 5X, Block 6, lots 1 through 4, Block 7, lots 1 through 6, 7X, and 817, Block 8, lots 1 through 20, Block 9, lots 1 through 13, Block 10, and lots 1 through 11. Block 11 of the Lakeview Landing addition. This property is located southwest of the intersection of Highway 377 and Overstreet Boulevard. Ms. Wawi?
Thank you. Again, this is your location map. The site is outlined in teal. It fronts along Highway 377 and the lake. We've seen this before in several meetings, going through zoning and other projects stages, and now with the plat. They're proposing 44 lots in this mixed-use development, which includes commercial, multifamily, townhouse, and single-family lots. This is the preliminary plat that shows all of the sections. The sections located most to the north towards 377 are the commercial and multifamily lots. The other lots are where the townhomes and single-family, and one large lot there to the east is reserved for the assisted care facility. These are the other sheets of the preliminary plat, just showing a little closer detail of each of the lots and the easements and all the other requirements that are required on plats. They are requesting a variance to not require standard easements. As with variances, the staff reviews these and makes a recommendation. This is the city engineer's memo in support of the easement variance. The Planning and Zoning Commission heard this item and recommended approval of both the variance as well as the preliminary plat with a vote of 6-0 on each item. Staff is recommending approval of each item, and we incorporate the staff report to the record. And these are your voting options. If you have questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Any questions, comments? Mr. Kaufman?
I'd like to just say thank y'all for reading your packet in advance. This is a very long meeting tonight with a lot of projects, and by your silence makes me understand y'all know we have read this and appreciate what all staff has done to put all these agenda items together. This is a huge project. I just want to say that it was vested under the statute prior to the moratorium going in, so the sewer capacity has been carved out for this project all along, and I have no concerns with it whatsoever.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing and ask if anyone would like to stand and speak. I see no one standing, so I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. Other comments? None? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the preliminary plat as presented with variances?
So moved.
Ms. Burwell makes a motion.
Second.
Mr. Vale seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. It is approved 6-0. Thank you. And I echo Mr. Kaufman's compliments to council and compliments to staff. This is, life gets a lot easier on a lot of complicated items here when this type of work is done and studied. Thank you all. We're going to move to 7.4, also a public hearing. I have to read all this.
You may read it for you.
No, I'll get it.
I'll be happy to.
I'll get it. Consider a request of Legends Land Development to preliminary plat a 155.09 acre tract of the Joshua Minute Survey, abstract number 51, as lots 1 through 25, block 1, lots 1 through 38, block 2, lots 199, block 3, lots 126, blocks 4, lots 1 through 16, block 5, lots 1 through 7, block 6, lots 1 through 7-8, block 7, lots 1 through 14, block 8, lots 1 through 9, block 9, lots 1 through 6, block 10, lots 1 through 16, block 11, lots 1 through 13, block 12, lots 1 through 26, block 13, lots 1 through 26, block 14, lots 1 through 22, block 15, lots 1 through 18, block 16, lots 1 through 10, block 17, lots 1 through 28, block 18, lots 1 through 15, block 19, lots 1 through 18, block 20, lots 1 through 12, block 21, lots 1 through 65, block 22, lots 1 through 33, block 23, lots 135, block 24, lots 1 through 11, block 25, and HOA common areas, lot 1X, block 18, lot 2X, block 1, lot 3X, block 3, lot 4X, block 10, lot 5X, block 26, lots 6X and 7X, block 23 of the Legacy Ranch Addition. The property is located northwest of the intersection of Fall Creek Highway and FM Farm to Market Road 4. Anyone have any questions about those blocks or lots?
Can you repeat that?
Yes, I know. I knew it was coming. Yeah. Ms. Wally?
Thank you, sir. This is the location map. FM4, Farm to Market Road 4, is to the bottom of the teal outline of the site. And Fall Creek Highway is to the right or the east. So the site size is 155 acres. This property has a development agreement attached to it, which would bring the project into the city at the time of final platting. So I'll get to a slide. The part of the site is in the city limits with interim holding zoning, and part of the site is in the ETJ where no zoning exists on property. We had this on the agenda about a month or two ago, and the applicant withdrew that, made a few minor changes to the project, and has returned with this for presentation today. The proposal is for mixed-use horizontal development with some commercial townhouse, zero lot line, and single-family development. And this map, that teal line kind of bleeds into the interim holding, which is the gray, or the green, light green. Interim holding is a zoning district that, as its title says, is held until development occurs. So when they come in with the final plat, it's expected to be zoned, and in the ETJ is not zoned. This is the preliminary plat. You can kind of see a yellowish line there to the right side that designates where the city limit line is, and ETJ is to the west of that line. So this preliminary plat with variety of lot sizes, Some are designated for townhomes size lots, and some are commercial as stated previously. And these are the other pages of the plat showing a little bit of a zoom in. You'll see these drainage areas that crisscross across the property, and a variance is being requested as a result of some of the natural features and drainage areas on the property. And these are the variance pages. The variances are to not provide one entry per 50 lots, not to provide 5-foot utility easements on side lot lines of the townhouse and 0 lot line lots. Staff, as well as the city engineer, has reviewed the variances and is in support of those variances. Your Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the variances as well as the preliminary plat with 2 conditions, and these deal with the state of the plat where some of those lot lines cross the jurisdictional boundary. With a preliminary plat, we can move forward with the lot lines crossing jurisdictional boundary, or the city limit and ETJ boundary, I should be more specific there, because it is not what's called a record plat. However, with the final plat, those lot lines will need to be cleaned up and properly shown. But we do expect that the annexation, zoning, and final plat will come in at the same time. So we offered these conditions as a means of moving the project forward with the preliminary plat, and expect to see the remainder come in shortly. Staff's recommending, again, approval of the variances and the preliminary plat with those conditions. I'm sorry, that one slide was the P&Z recommended approval of variances and preliminary plat. This is your voting options slide for the variances and the preliminary plat combined. If you have some questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.
On the voting options, approve the preliminary plat with variance with the conditions 1 and 2. Those are the conditions, 1 and 2, correct? Okay. Okay. Council, any questions?
Mayor.
Mr. Vail.
So just confirmation back, so when this goes through the whole review process, DRC and so forth, I mean, this meets all of our fire code. I see there 1 entrance for 50 lots, so obviously this has gone back through, and the fire department is comfortable with that arrangement, should there be an emergency in that area, correct?
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, there is a development agreement with this?
That's correct.
Yes.
There's a development agreement in place that will provide for them to be annexed once the final plat is approved.
Okay. Okay.
Mayor,
Mr. Rodriguez.
how many homes are going into this, Kier?
There's approximately 600 lots in the entire project.
I just want to see if the staff would look at some of the, the impact that it's going to have on Highway 4, and see if we can't work with the developer on that, and making sure that, proper turn lanes and acceleration lanes if possible. But I don't know if that's a possibility. I don't know what they have planned. Is there any plans to improve Highway 4 in front of your area?
I might go ahead and open the public hearing. Go
Thank
ahead,
you.
Mr.
Thank you, Mayor.
LaCroix.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. For the record, Joe LaCroix with Baird, Hampton & Brown Engineering. We're the civil engineers on the project. Yes, sir. So we've submitted to TxDOT, received comments, and are planning to do both a continuous bypass lane as well as left turn and right turn lanes in and out of development at both of our connections to FM4.
I appreciate you taking into consideration, because it's going to be a lot of homes, a lot of cars. I think you said 600 homes, is that correct?
I believe we have 623 residential lots. Yes,
So
sir.
you can double that in the amount of cars, so that'd be like, 1,200 cars that are going to be in that neighborhood.
We've performed a TIA, or traffic impact analysis, that's been reviewed by the city as well as TxDOT. So we're working through that permitting process now and expect that within the next month or so prior to moving forward with the final plat.
All right, well, I think this is a good addition, especially on the Fort Worth side, where a lot of commuters go to Fort Worth. It'd be a nice area to choose, as an area to live at. So appreciate it.
Mr. Wadley?
Yeah, in looking at this preliminary plat, it shows the connection to Highway, or Fall Creek Highway. It shows other connections going to land around it that nothing else exists yet. Mr. Vale said something about an entrance for 50 homes? Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, one entrance.
Okay, I mean, I see one entrance, the one on Fall Creek Highway, right now. So as this project is developed, are these other areas around it going to be developed where there will be other connections?
You know, obviously, we can't speak for outside development. There's two connections to Fall Creek Highway, one in kind of the center and then one in the southeast corner of the property there. Both of those will be built with Phase 1. Unfortunately, this is an issue that you kind of run into when you're the first one in, if you will. Obviously, the property around it has not been developed. It's our intent that we've stubbed out locations in every direction, northeast, south, and west, per the city ordinance. We actually worked with the city engineer on this. We had originally complied with that with kind of one more additional stub out to the south, but she thought that might encumber the property there, so we've actually removed that stub out. There's quite a bit of floodwater inundation running through the property, which prohibits us in some areas. The main commercial driveway, the main commercial road, Legacy Ranch Boulevard, running generally east-west through the property, is on the master thoroughfare plan. That'll eventually extend through the property to the west and connect to Saratoga Boulevard, which is again on the master thoroughfare plan. So that'll provide some additional interconnectivity.
More questions?
I have one more. Did you all have any, like, conversations about having any parkland in there, playground for the kids, stuff like that? I don't see one on here, so I didn't know. I see some land that, I guess where the low water is, it could be developed as that. I don't know if there have already been discussions about that.
There's quite a bit of HOA open space, and as part of the 380 agreement that was approved by this council, we'll be installing kind of a hike and bike trail throughout the open space. It'll have benches and seating areas throughout and kind of some neat features for public open space and use.
Thank you.
Okay. Other questions? No? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Anyone else have questions at the open public hearing? I see no one standing, so I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. Any other questions by council? Comments? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the preliminary plat and the variances with the conditions? Number one, with the final plat of Phase 1, final plat of Phase 3, the lot configuration will need to be updated to follow the city limit ETJ boundary, and if annexation is submitted at the same time, the lots would be verified as being within the new city limits. Number two, with the final plat of Phase 1 and final plat of Phase 3, lots zoned interim holding will need to be shown with a minimum 2-acre lot size or zoned to a district permitting the lot size proposed.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Corrigan makes the motion. Mr. Vale seconds. No discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. That passes 6-0. Thank you all for that. Number 7.5, it's also a public hearing. Consider the following request of Sand Hill Land and Cattle Company. 1, adopt ordinance number 2367 to rezone a 6.12 acre tract of the Marcus Smith Survey, abstract number 504, from light commercial to planned development with a base multiple family, and number 2, preliminary plat, a 6.12 acre tract of the Marcus Smith Survey, abstract number 504, as Lot 1, Block 1 of the Sundance on Lake Granbury addition. The property is located north of the intersection of Crawford Avenue and Harbor Lakes Drive. Ms. Wally.
Thank you. This site is located north side of Crawford along the lake. It's outlined in teal. It's unimproved right now. And the neighborhood context includes undeveloped land, office, retail, multifamily, and hotel uses. And it's not platted yet. This is the comprehensive plan. Recommendation is for high-density residential So you can see how it fits in there beside other high-density residential. The zoning is appropriate for high-density residential. The zone change requested is from light commercial to a planned development with a base of multifamily. So the abbreviation there is PDMF. It is appropriate to this location and makes for good use of the property. The development plan submitted proposes 58 total units of townhomes, which results in 9.379 units per acre. The multifamily zoning district base density is 18, so it's well under that density. Although the site layout presents us as a rather compact development with townhomes shown on the site plan there in pink. And the PD is intended as a development district that allows flexibility in development standards, and the applicant has submitted development standards that vary from the multifamily district. Those are contained in your proposed ordinance and staff report. Incorporate those into the record here. When we look at the development standards, we assure safety through fire and building inspection review of the proposal in a very detailed manner, and this project does satisfy those requirements that they have. The applicant also is proposing amenities along the lake with one dock that extends into the lake. You can kind of see that on the lower left of the drawing. An amenity center with a pool is also to the lower left of the drawing along the lakeside. In addition, the amenities will include a trail system that runs along the lake shore. Access to the project will be from Crawford. And this is the phasing plan. Let's see, they're going to be putting in some walls for the project. So the upper left shows a board-on-board wall with masonry columns, and the lower right shows some retaining walls which match the stone of the board-on-board wall with the masonry columns. And this is the open space plan. Those little white lines that extend through the site, those are either sidewalks or part of the proposed trail system. And there will be landscaping in those green areas as well. This is a little bit of a blow up on the amenities center there, so you can see it a little detail. And the landscape plans are several sheets, but what you see there in the gray colors are trees or grass or other types of landscaping throughout the proposed development. And then this is a rendering of what the buildings would look like. It's a more modern flair to the architecture. The total height of those is 45 feet. They're primarily 3-story with a partial livable space on the top with a rooftop deck. And this is a drawing that shows the amenity center. Didn't have a rendering to show you, but it had a black and white drawing here. So. And with the zoning change, we have considerations that are contained in the zoning ordinance. These are all supportable for this proposed change of zoning. And the preliminary plat would create one lot out of an unplatted property. So that's what that looks like. It's 2 sheets. There is a variance to not provide 15-foot utility easement along the lake shore, which seems reasonable, and our staff is supportive of that. This is the city engineer's memo documenting our staff support. Public notice was provided as required, and we did not receive anything in favor nor in opposition to the proposal. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of both the change of zoning and the preliminary plat along with the variance. Staff recommends the same, and these are your voting options for the zone change and for the preliminary plat. If you'd like more details or additional information, I'd be happy to provide that. Thank you.
Staff, council,
Mayor.
Mr. Vale.
So Kara, this has the on-site sewage facility, right?
That's
And with
correct.
the future
A
pump and haul.
hall.
Okay, right, okay. But on-site, so pump and haul.
Yes, sir.
With a future opportunity, as the moratorium looks for consideration for lifting, they would tie back in with the city systems, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
So just to be clear, they're going to build the lift station, put in the infrastructure, And as soon as the moratorium is lifted, they will turn on the lift station and begin pumping into our system. And so the construction would be complete. There's not any big deal to pump and haul for them. They have a sewer plant somewhere to take it to, so.
Thank you.
Other questions? I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. Anyone want to come to the front? I see no one standing, so I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. Council, more questions? No? Okay. Do I hear a motion to adopt ordinance number 2367 to rezone a 6.12 acre tract of the Marcus Smith Survey Abstract number 505 or 504 from light commercial to planned development?
So moved.
Mr. Wadley makes a motion.
Second.
Mr. Veo seconds. Comments? Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. I hear no nays. It is approved 6-0. Ms. Wawi, do you have water, or if you need it, down there? Okay. The second motion. Do I hear a motion to approve the preliminary plat and variance?
So moved.
Mr. Bale makes the motion.
Second.
Mr. Corrigan makes a second on that. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. I hear no nays. The preliminary plat is approved 6-0. Okay. Let's go to 7.6. This is also a public hearing. Consider the following request of Trione Development Corporation to, 1, adopt ordinance number 2368 for a change of zoning on a 15.147 acre tract of the Milam County School Land Survey Abstract number 348 from planned development to residential 7,000. And number 2, preliminary plat a 15.147 acre tract of the Milam County School Land Survey Abstract number 348 is lots 1 through 23, block 1, lots 1 through 27, block 2, and lots 1 through 15, block 3 of the Bella Vista addition. The property is located at the southwest corner of the intersection of Nettie Bacchus Road and Loop 567. Ms. Walby.
Thank you. This site location is outlined in teal to the west of the Nettie Bacchus School, and the property is undeveloped. The comprehensive plan recommends retail office and low-density residential for this site. Now, this project has been in review for, I think, about 5 years. It's been a long time. And due to circumstances, the need for a comprehensive plan amendment was missed. So you'll see in your packet we have a recommendation related to that to have the future land use plan amendment come in for approval in the future. The applicant has done due diligence and brought that in. It is on file, usually coming forward to Plan Commission October 16th, and then presumably it moves forward to you for November 7th hearing. So that's the situation with the comprehensive plan. The request before you tonight is for the existing zoning change from the planned development commercial and R7 designation to a standard R7 district. So that's a residential detached project, 7,000 square foot lots. This proposal, considerations can be met along with that condition as mentioned. The preliminary plat is also requested. It's a straightforward preliminary plat with access to the street there to the east, Nettie Bacchus School, that street over there, and it will provide connections to the west. So that's the second page of the preliminary plat. Public notice was provided as required. We did receive one letter in favor of the proposal and nothing in opposition. The Planning and Zoning Commission considered this item and voted for the zoning change by a vote of 4-3. There was a tie break on that vote. in a conversation regarding the comprehensive plan. They decided to go forward with the recommended condition for the future land use plan to catch up. And they also recommended approval of the preliminary plat by unanimous vote, 6-0. And staff is recommending approval of all of the requests. These are your voting options for the zoning as well as the preliminary plat. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those. Thank you.
Council have questions? Mr. Rodriguez?
This is the second plat in that same area that we're starting to change our zoning. I mean, the whole point of us having a commercial on the frontage is to move some of our commercial industry to the outskirts of Granbury. If we keep on modifying our comprehensive or future land use map to accommodate some of these guys to putting in residential lots, I do agree we do need more housing. I just don't know if I agree with taking the frontage that's supposed to be commercial and making it R7 or residential. I don't agree to that. I think we need to keep it retail in office and quit modifying our future land use map. We spent countless of we spent a lot of money doing a comprehensive land use map, and we continue to change it, and I don't think that's right.
Other comments? Ms. Carey, can you Wawi, can you elaborate on the conversation that resulted in the 4-3 vote at Planning and Zoning?
Sure. As I recall, the council mentioned that that's not our standard process, which it is not. I explained that all of the parties missed that, and we're very, disappointed to have done that, and offered this as a solution to move forward without loss of time.
Okay. I saw our city engineer stand. Did you have something to say? Did you want to say something? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Wadley.
Basically, same comment as the last development. This has, I see, one entrance. He has 2 more on the plat that go to a field right now. I don't know if there's plans for that right now.
This goes to the street.
That's the one.
That's a street, yeah.
This one goes to nothing, that one goes to nothing.
Gotcha.
So we have one entrance and exit. It's on Eddie Backus Road. Have they looked at the impact that would have with the school and things over there? And also, just like the last one, it's just all lots. There's no park, no walking trails. There's just streets.
Excuse me. I think I will say something about this.
Okay.
We worked with this developer extensively on this piece of property, and there's some unique things that were going on with it as we tried to move forward. One is the school entrance that was over there, Nettie Bacchus coming in. And in order to put the commercial that far front where it was supposed to be designated on the land use plan, it would have required a driveway that was too close to the entrance, too close to the loop there, okay? And it was going to cause a lot of difficulty getting in and out of that commercial area. And the fact that TxDOT, since it was so close to the Nettie Bacchus roadway, they would not allow a driveway to go there, okay? So it was going to cause a lot of confusion just as you turn off of the loop in order to try to get into those commercial areas. So we've been kind of working through this and kind of trying to see a bigger picture in this whole thing. And what we have done is that we've got TxDOT to agree that they're going to align a roadway for that subdivision along with the El Dorado that's on the other side, and that will be a kind of a major intersection in the future, okay? So we've been working real closely with TxDOT about this and trying to make sure that we've got some good access as this land continues to develop. This is just one little piece of it. There's a whole bigger area that's below it. And so we were trying to see a big picture in this whole thing.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yes. Mr. Kaufman?
To address your concern with the park, there's playground equipment at the school right next door that during the summer they'd be able to utilize. But I'm sure they're dealing with paying the fee in lieu of parkland dedication. So we can use that on park improvements in other areas. But you're right. It does make it difficult for kiddos to have a place to recreate.
Okay.
And that's what we continually deal with. They have the option either or. And so obviously our parks team would like to see more parks located throughout. This is 61 homes. Should it develop to the south, I think parkland would certainly be in line there as well.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. Does anyone want to stand and speak? If you'll just give us your name. And, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the
Mel,
council.
lift that mic up a little bit. Thanks.
There we go, not used to that. My name is Jordan Bishop. I'm with Jordan Engineering. I'm the civil engineer on the project here on behalf of the applicant. Joanne did a great job of summarizing kind of the history of this. To speak to the commercial use that we are now requesting to go to residential up at the front, a previous plat did have that area as commercial lots. And then working through the access that Joanne mentioned, we did not want to utilize a residential access for a commercial property and then vice versa. And so then that really triggered us wanting to just utilize this entire corner for residential. And then as the, again, my crystal ball is no better than anybody else's, but you can see as we stub to the west, future connections to the loop via TxDOT permits are what we plan to do over there. And then in regards to communication with the school, it has been a while since we've talked with them, but as we get beyond the preliminary and into the final plat for this development, our previous discussions were regarding a striping plan for Nettie Bacchus. Nettie Bacchus is already an existing very wide road. I think it's striped right now just as a 2-lane road, but it's upward of 40 feet wide as it is right now. And so we will work with the school in regards to sidewalk along our side of the road and then any sort of striping that, we deem appropriate. And with that, I'll just wanted to make myself available to answer any further questions.
Other questions? Comments?
Just real quick.
Mr. Vail?
So the pickup for the school is off the loop. Is that out front of the school and not off Nettie Bacchus Road? Is that correct? Do we know?
No, I think the school is going to be doing some improvements on their, trying to bring the traffic off of the loop and off of, and using Nettie Bacchus, but I'm not, you have to come back to the school and ask them how they're going to implement that loop.
I was just thinking about one exit onto Nettie Bacchus Road, and you got the school right next door. How does that impact all the challenges that we have around town with picking up kids at school and the traffic that ensues as a result of?
Yeah, the school does front onto Nettie Bacchus, okay? And there are several loops that run through there, as they take the kids in and out. I think that there's 2 loops, one in the front and one on the side parking lot, okay? So with the restriping, it's going to allow, a turn lane in through there that's going to keep the traffic flowing a little better. And what we're adding to this, most of the traffic is going to be early in the mornings and late in the afternoons as people commute back and forth. to and from work, to and from their houses, and it shouldn't interfere a lot with the school at all. So
Right.
the timing will be a little off.
Okay. I'm seeing this, go ahead.
The next phase of this project, because this is a multi-phase project, this is just the beginning of it, okay? But the next phase, they are going to have to come through, and we've already talked to them about having a second entrance. That would be off of Nettie Bacchus, okay? It would be completely different from Nettie Bacchus. So
Is that going to be completely residential as well?
it'll be residential, yes,
Okay.
coming through there.
Is that phase to the south?
It's faced to the,
West.
Yeah, it's generally to the south and the west.
yes.
Right, this area.
And below, it's all
Okay.
about the same person.
Okay.
And that's where we're going to be aligning that road to go into El Dorado, aligning it with one of the roadways coming out of El Dorado. Okay, so that will all line up for the future.
Any other questions? So, go ahead.
I would like to comment, Mayor. Staff has worked really hard to get to a yes, and I'm pleased that y'all have worked hard and did your homework and worked with TxDOT and looked at the safety concerns related to access at that intersection and so many feet from it. And so, thank y'all. Just wanted to say thank you.
That was my question. I thought I was perceiving city and developers and school all working together here for
And
the future.
TxDOT.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all. Anyone else want to make a statement here at the public hearing? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. Thank both of you for coming up. Comments, questions from staff? Okay. So I guess we have a couple of items to vote on here too. Do I hear a motion to adopt ordinance number 2368 for a change of zoning on a 15.147 acre tract of the Milam County School Land Survey abstract number 348 from planned development to residential 7,000?
So moved.
Mr. Wadley makes the motion.
Second.
Mr. Corrigan made the second. Comments? Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay.
Nay.
I hear 5 ayes and 1 nay. Mr. Rodriguez? Okay. That will pass. Number 2, do I hear a motion to approve the preliminary plat of a 15.147 acre tract of the Milam County School Land Survey Abstract 348 as lots 1 through 23, Block 1, lots 1 through 27, Block 2, lots 1 through 15, Block 3 of the Bella Vista Addition. The property is located at the southwest corner of the intersection of Nettie Bacchus Road and Loop 567.
So moved.
Ms. Burwell makes a motion.
Second.
Mr. Vale makes a second. Discussion? Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Nay. It is 5 ayes and 1 nay. Mr. Rodriguez. Thank you. Thank you all here. Okay. We'll now go to 7.7. It's also a public hearing with 2 ordinances to approve. Do you think we weren't going to notice that you're putting 2 ordinances in each one of these? Okay. Keep the book short here. Yeah, okay. Public hearing on this one. We'll consider the following request of Manish Rimal to 1, adopt ordinance number 2369 to rezone a portion of Lot 1, Block 1 of the 4th Enterprise Edition from residential 8400 to light commercial. And number 2, adopt ordinance number 23-70 for a specific use permit to allow the operation of a convenience store with gas pumps in a light commercial zoning district. The property is addressed as 1100 West Pearl Street. Ms. Wawi.
Thank you. This project is a cleanup of zoning. The applicant is desiring to make a few improvements to their property. In order to do that, the zone change is needed. So the property is an existing gas station with fuel pumps or convenience store with fuel pumps. It's located there next to the city park on Pearl Street. The comprehensive plan is retail office. The proposal is a zone change and a specific use permit. The zoning would align with the eastern portion of the site, which is already zoned light commercial, and the request would change the western portion of the site from the R 8.4 to light commercial. And these are your considerations. They all can meet with a favorable statement, and we would incorporate the staff report to include those in the records. The SUP is for a convenience store with gas pumps, so that cleans up also the SUP. These are the supplemental standards for a convenience store and gas station. Number one is that there be a site plan. The other one is the setbacks for the pump islands and the canopy being 18 feet and 10 feet respectively. And the site plan shows all the site improvements with dimensions, and the applicant has also submitted a landscape plan showing landscaping existing and improvements there too. The specific use permit has ordinance requirements that are criteria, and those can also be answered favorably for the proposal. The public notice was provided as required, and we received one letter in favor and nothing in opposition to the request. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended unanimous 6-0 vote for both the zoning change and the specific use permit with the conditions to allow the convenience store with gas pump use and the use and operations to conform to the site plan and activities to the zoning ordinance and applicable code requirements. Staff has the same recommendation for zoning and SUP. And these are your voting options for the zone change and for the SUP. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions if you have any. Thank you.
Okay. Questions from council? No? I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. Anyone like to step forward and speak? See no one stepping forward, so I'm going to close the public hearing. Do I hear a motion to approve ordinance number 23-69 to rezone a portion of Lot 1, Block 1 of the 4th Enterprise Edition from residential 8400 to light commercial?
So moved.
Mr. Rodriguez makes a motion.
Second.
Mr. Vale seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. I hear no nays. Approved 6-0. Do I hear a motion on ordinance number 23-70 for a specific use permit to allow operation of a convenience store with gas pumps in a light commercial zoning district? Properties addressed as 1100 West Pearl Street. Mr.
So
Wadley.
moved.
Mr. Wadley makes a motion.
Second.
Mr. Corrigan seconds. Good discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. I hear no nays. Passes 6-0. Thank you, Ms. Wawi. Council, we have another public hearing. 7.8, consider adopting ordinance number 23-71 to approve a request of Homeyer Engineering, Inc. for a specific use permit to operate a car wash self-service in a light commercial zoning district. Property is located at 3925 East Highway 377. Ms. Wawi.
Thank you. The site is shown on this location map outlined in teal. It's currently an unimproved property located behind the Kroger gas station, and it has a frontage drive that provides access to East 377. The proposal is for a self-service car wash. The site is zoned light commercial, which requires a specific use permit for the car wash. This is the site plan of the car wash. The grayed areas are parking drying areas and drive areas. The light area in the middle of the drawing is the actual car wash building through which the car wash services would be provided. This is classed as a self-service because there is areas where the customers would be doing their own drying and other car wash activities. The second page of the site plan. The zoning ordinance requires criteria to be considered, and all of the criteria can be answered in a positive fashion and incorporate the staff report findings to the record. The public notice has been satisfied. No letters have been received either in favor nor in opposition to the proposal. The Planning Commission considered the request and recommends approval with 2 conditions. The SUP for car wash self-service not be required a term limit, and that the car wash self-service conform to the site plan and the requirements of zoning ordinance and city code requirements. And staff has the same recommendation, and these are your voting options. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have some. Thank you.
Council have questions? I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. Anyone want to stand and speak? I see no one, so we'll close the public hearing. Okay. Do I hear a motion to adopt ordinance number 2371 to approve a request of Homeyer Engineering for a specific use permit to operate a car wash, self-service, and a light commercial zoning district, properties located at 3925 East Highway 377? Subject to the conditions as stated in the proposal.
So moved.
Ms. Burwell makes a motion.
Second.
Mr. Corrigan, second. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. I hear no nays. It's approved 6-0. Go to 7.9. It's also a public hearing. Consider adopting ordinance number 2372 to approve the request of James Hall for a specific use permit for a short-term rental residential. The property is addressed as 407 West Torrey. Ms. Wawi?
Thank you. So the site, you can see the teal outline right there in the middle of that location map. There's an existing single-family residential building that has access to the side street with its front door facing to Torrey. The request is for a short-term rental unhosted with 2 bedrooms. Parking is adequate on this site. The site is zoned R10. And this is the buffer map showing nearby short-term rentals. They're outlined in blue. I apologize for that. I think we're just working through some technical issues. There are a couple, not too many, in the surrounding area. This is the second request for a short-term rental on this property. This is the site plan. It shows the parking there on the side street to the west or the left on this drawing. Staff is recommending screening shrubs be installed along the north side of the driveway to screen the parking headlights, right? This is the floor plan. Sorry about that. That's a site plan, but it is indeed a floor plan. It's a 2-story building, and the floor plan shows 2 bedrooms that are requested. The specific use permit for this use has certain considerations. As a reminder, these uses are allowed by policy to be located in the historic overlay districts, and this is a historic district where the site is located. The parking will be satisfied. Again, a reminder on the screening that I just stated. The regulations also go on to include these items, which are also in your staff report for the record. The public notice was provided as is required. We received 1 letter in favor and nothing in opposition to the request. These are the recommendations from Planning and Zoning Commission, which was a recommendation of approval with a vote of 6-0 unanimous, with a 5-year term, subject to site plan and floor plan, screening of the headlights, and no more than 2 bedrooms. The last 3 conditions are our standard conditions. Staff has the same recommendation, and these are your voting options. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Questions? Mr. Rodriguez.
Mayor, thank you. Carrie, you said this was a 2-bedroom, or is it a 3-bedroom? Because it's considered a 3-bedroom, 3-bath house.
So the request is for a 2-bedroom?
So do they meet the parking requirements if they have 3 bedrooms at that house?
We'll have to open the public hearing. If you'd like to come to the dais and speak, please, introduce yourself.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I think if you pull that mic up a little bit, it might be better still. Thank you.
The house is constructed.
And
with-
your name is?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
James Hall.
James, thank you.
The house has 3 bedrooms. I'm using the 3rd as a study. I'm only requesting 2 and have 2 parking spaces to match.
Okay, but what's the requirement again, Kara?
Sure, so the requirement per the ordinance is 1 parking space per bedroom.
So it's considered a 3-bedroom house?
So I understood your point, thank you. They're requesting for 2 bedrooms, and so therefore only 2 parking spaces are required.
Is this a renewal or a re-up?
This is a re-up. They had a SUP, let me see here, just a second. In July of '22 for a 1-year term.
And it was for 2-bedroom as well? Okay. Any complaints in the interim?
Nothing, no.
Okay. Mr. Rodriguez?
I'm just kind of confused on our own ordinances because, I mean, you can label 5 other bedrooms as study and get away with this, the way our ordinance is reading. You know, I think I'm just going to have to come back on this, but for me, I think the ordinance reads clear. If it's a 3-bedroom, you have to have 3 parking spots. And just because you label it as study, it's not, I mean, you can label it as a closet as well. Doesn't mean that it is what it is. It's constructed as a 3-bedroom, 3-bath house.
Okay. I'm looking at the layout here. Where's the 3rd bedroom?
With the study. He's got labeled as study. That's what he's talking about right here.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, I understand what you're talking about. Thank you. Okay. Other discussion? No? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Anyone else want to speak on this item? Mr. Rodriguez, do you have more? I understand what you're saying. Yes, or maybe clarify it. Our rules say one parking spot for every bedroom, no less than 2 parking spots, period, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And we've had this on as a 2-bedroom since sometime in 2022. We've had
In
no
July of
complaints.
22.
Okay. All right.
I think, if I could, Mayor.
Sure.
Interject
Please.
here. I think that what Mr. Rodriguez is pointing out is that our zoning ordinance says if they're doing a 2-bedroom B&B, you have to have 2 parking spaces. If you're doing a 3-bedroom B&B, you got to have 3 parking spaces. And our zoning ordinance does not reflect, what I'm hearing you say is does not reflect the number of bedrooms physically that the property can or has. And I think it's important for us to realize that under the International Building Code, a bedroom could be considered, is it 70 feet, Jeremy?
10 by 7.
10 by 7. Anywhere in the house could be converted to a bedroom and follow the International Building Code, residential code. So just because the house has the space doesn't, and that room was formerly called a bedroom probably when it was built, probably the master bedroom upstairs is what it looks like, but it's not being used for that. So technically you could make more than one bedroom out of one bedroom under the International Residential Code. So
I think you have to have a closet as well for it to be considered a bedroom.
no,
Really?
no.
Don't even have to have walls.
Yeah, just sleeping area, 70 square feet. So that's why it's important that we stipulate in the permit that he can only rent 2 bedrooms in this location. Because if you go by the strict reading of the International Residential Code that we've adopted, which we're required to adopt, you know, you could have all kinds of bedrooms in that house, or another house, not talking about his project, any of the others as well. So that's why when we issue the permit, we stipulate exactly how many rooms they're going to be renting for sleeping space. And so our rule is you can't have more than 7 rooms for a hosted B&B and no more than 3 for an unhosted B&B. So those spaces that we're talking about, fortunately, have walls on them in this situation. So I understand your concern, but it is a tightrope to walk through the code to accomplish what you're talking about.
So if we had issues, concerns with people parking on the street or whatever, we would have heard about it. And we also, as the city, keep track of the revenues that come in based on these. So we saw an outstanding larger, I mean, there's a way to monitor, I guess, is my comment.
I'd like to also add, Mayor, that
Yeah.
the letter in support of the project requested that they make sure they remove the garbage can after the trash pickup that day. And that is a good rule to follow, and we hope that the management will follow that rule, or will be receiving a complaint, I guess, in the future for that reason. But it was not phrased in a fashion of a complaint. It was a support letter for the project with the encouragement to make sure that the trash receptacle is removed from the street once the trash is emptied.
Okay. So is there anyone else that wants to speak at the public hearing? Okay. See no one, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. Do I hear a motion to approve the SUP subject to the conditions as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Corrigan makes a motion.
Second.
Ms. Burwell seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay.
Nay.
I hear 5 ayes and 1 nay. Mr. Rodriguez. Okay. Move now to 7.10, also a public hearing. Consider adopting ordinance number 2373 to approve the request of Glenn Wade for a specific use permit for a short-term rental residential. The property is addressed as 204 North Brazos Street. Ms. Walwick.
Sorry. This site is outlined in teal on your location map. The property is zoned for townhome development, and I don't believe that we've seen one of these requests for short-term rental unhosted in a townhome development. So I want to take a short time to explain that the ordinance is a little bit different, and the owner of the adjacent unit is required to submit a letter of support. Otherwise, there's a higher standard for voting on such an item. In this case, the property owner to the adjacent unit did submit a letter of support, and that is in your staff packet. Okay, so this request is for a short-term rental unhosted 4 bedrooms. As was mentioned earlier in the previous project, the ordinance limits our short-term rentals unhosted to a maximum of 3 bedrooms. At the P&Z hearing, the applicant committed to only having 3 bedrooms. However, the application was not amended, so we have to state the request as submitted. So zoning is townhome and in the historic overlay district. This is a buffer map showing in red outline the nearby short-term rentals. Those are primarily on this map shown to the west, although Bridge Street is to the south, and to the east are a number of short-term rentals nearby. The site plan shows the property. Sorry for that quality, it's a little difficult to see, but Brazos is to the south, and you enter the site from Brazos. There's a shared easement, access easement, for parking and access to properties to the east and to the north. The request for the proposal provides 4 parking spaces. 2 would be provided under a covered canopy carport, and 2 would be towards the front of the site, closer towards Brazos. Staff has a condition. We think that there's adequate shrubbery and screening on the property. However, it is a little bit scattered, so we included a condition for screening the headlight suite with that. And this is the floor plan showing the various rooms in the building. And this is the specific use permit criteria for the SUP request. The site is located in the historic district where policy indicates it should be located. This site received various SUP grants in the past, and the applicant is coming back to reinstate to operate again. The other requirements can be provided as well. And these are the additional regulations, which are criteria that are found in our staff report. We incorporate that for the record, and the findings can be in a positive nature with the 3 bedrooms total, screening of the west side on the parking for that headlight suite. And we did provide notice as is required. We received 4 letters in favor of the project, nothing in opposition. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval with conditions shown here with a 5-year term, subject to the site plan and floor plan, screening of the headlight sweep, a maximum of 3 bedrooms, and the last 3 conditions are our standard conditions. Staff has the same recommendation, and these are your voting options. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.
This is a townhome area?
Yes, this is
And we have a requirement that they build some screening?
Yes, sir.
And I'm assuming that doesn't violate any, if they have an HOA. I don't know if they have an HOA, but other rules?
I'm not aware of one. I think the applicant is here and could speak better to that.
It's a public hearing. I'll go ahead and open that up. If you'll just introduce yourself, sir.
Yes, I'm Glenn Wade. And,
Mr. Wade.
The house is at 204 North Brazos Street. Yeah, we moved to Canada for 7 years, and during that time, they passed an ordinance saying you had to block the headlights from people coming and going. I'm not really in agreement with that, but there's nothing I can do about it now. But it's very difficult to do in our situation because we do have 2 homes that use my driveway. They have an easement to access Brazos Street across my land, and I have no problem. It's concrete. It's plenty of room, and both their bedroom, the only 2 properties that are occupied, their bedrooms are on the opposite side of the building. So, I mean, I'll put a screen there, but it'll block their traffic coming and going. It'd be very difficult to do.
Well, yeah. I just want to make sure we go into this, all with our eyes open.
Okay.
So, any recommendations?
Well, I want to say the one thing. I operated under an SUP for 6 years
Right.
here. I had 0 complaints from any neighbor.
Right.
None filed, with the city. I had a 4.9 rating out of 5 with 70 reviews on Airbnb. And I don't know why we now have to decide, I put a screen to block a headlight. You don't have to have a screen to block your neighbors driving in at night. I mean, why are you punishing short-term renters to do that?
Okay.
Good question, huh?
It's a very good question. Ms. Wawi?
Sure. That was included in the ordinance for short-term rentals. Reason being is that typically visitors may have other hours than residents in terms of driving into a driveway and having a light shine into your property. I would also like to add that we as staff, we went out with the applicant and looked at the site. There is some screening out there right now that we feel is probably adequate, and we included the condition just to make sure that we've got it correct. Yeah.
Okay, just make sure we go in with our eyes open, okay? Mr. Wade or Mr. Wadley, do you have a question for him?
This short-term rental is for the front property, correct?
Yes.
Is there,
It's a south property.
okay, is the north property also a short-term rental?
No. They've been living there for almost as long as we have, and they've never had any complaints. They've never filed any complaints with us.
It's always worked out okay for them also? And this is for a 4-bedroom short-term rental?
It is a 4-bedroom, but also when I was out of the country, they changed the law there, so I can't rent 4 bedrooms. Not sure why. You want to discourage tourism, I guess. We're a block from the city square. People come and go to the restaurants, go to the shops. That's the first thing they do and spend money. And now I find out that I can't do a 4-bedroom rental. I can only do a 3-bedroom rental. So that's what I'm going to do.
And your parking is the two in the covered
Two covered and
carport?
2 sufficient to be out of the way of the egress from my 2 neighbors.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Any other questions, council? Anyone else want to speak at the public hearing? No? I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. Any other comments, questions? No? Okay. Do I hear a motion to adopt ordinance number 23-73 to approve the request of Glenn Wade for a specific use permit for a short-term rental residential? Property is addressed at 204 North Brazos Street, and it'll be subject to the conditions as presented. To approve this
So
SUP.
moved.
Mr. Corrigan makes a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Vale says second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. It's approved 6-0. Thank
Mayor,
you.
I just got a question real quick. I should have asked this during the time, but is he only doing 3 bedrooms? Yes. So why 4 parking spots? Or did
We
that
just
even?
asked for it.
He just asked, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to 7-11. It is not a public hearing. We're going to consider making an appointment to the Zoning Board of Adjustment to fill a vacant seat. And this must be filled with an alternate member, and we have an alternate member in the audience here. We have 2 alternate members, Mr. Richard Hafes, who's here, and Ms. Faye Landon, who's not here tonight. So any discussion on Mr. Hafe? Yes, Mr. Vea.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate Richard Hafe to fill that position.
I second that.
I'll have a nomination in a second. Does that work? Any other discussion?
I make a motion to move to appoint him as the alternate. Fill the vacant seat.
Okay. I hear a motion to nominate or to appoint Mr. Richard Hafe to the Zoning Board of Adjustment to fill a vacant seat. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Mr. Wadley makes a second. Mr. Rodriguez, do you have?
Well, I wanted some discussion before a motion was made, so, I mean, first of all, I wanted to see if Mr. Hayes wanted to do this. I mean, we're just appointing him, and I know he had an application, but it wasn't his primary choice, you know. It was his 3rd choice on this, and I just wanted to...
Mr. Hafe, do you want to speak?
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Mr. City Manager. Richard Haves, 428 Riverbank Lane here in the great city of Granbury. Yes, I am willing to serve in the position. City staff did reach out to me. We did discuss it, and I am willing to serve if approved, or I should say if appointed by council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
And I do have a motion, and it's been seconded. And other discussion, questions? Okay. All in favor of appointing Mr. Have to the Zoning Board of Adjustment to fill the vacant seat, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Welcome, Mr. Have. Passes 6-0. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your service in all the areas that you do. Oh, good. Number 7.12. Consider, yeah, we're going to ask you, Eddie. Consider nominating 5 candidates to the Hood Central Appraisal District Board of Directors to fill 5 positions with terms expiring on December 31st, 2023, and adopt resolution number 23-22 to submit the names of said candidates to the Chief Appraiser of the Hood Central Appraisal District. So, before we nominate Mr. Rodriguez, who is one of the current board members, Mr. Rodriguez, do you want us to nominate you?
Well, Mayor,
would you like to continue in this role?
yeah, if I could just address the council on this item with your permission.
Please do.
All right. So the school board already made their nominations, and we're here tonight to make the nominations. I did just want to let y'all know that the members that are currently serving, except for Mark Jackson. I'm getting my marks mixed up. Except for Mark Jackson, all the other remaining board members has expressed interest on serving again on the board. Understand that those members were not all selected by the Granbury ISD School Board, but that is the choice. That is the choice we have here. There was also the director's qualifications in your package. If you make a different nomination other than the ones that are serving currently, just look at the director's qualifications. Those qualifications have to be that they can't be an employee of the taxing entity. That's the biggest thing. And they have to reside within the district, appraisal district, at least 2 years immediately preceding the date they take office. As you know, with the director's qualifications, any city council man or woman, board trustee, county commissioner, or can be on this board of directors. So you have that in your package. So I'll leave it at that. Now, all board members currently have, except for Mark Jackson, has expressed that they wanted to be on that board.
Mr. Kaufman.
I might add that the suggested action was put together by staff. This is not something that you have to adhere to, but it's our recommendation, knowing that the Granbury ISD has the majority voting block of weighted votes, and so probably going anywhere contrary to that recommendation might be a little difficult to overcome when the votes are made after all the nominations are submitted. So, but you're certainly welcome to do different than what we suggest. And by all means, do so if that's what you want to do. I just didn't want to think that we were just taking it lighthearted. But there's a reason we did it this way, because if Granbury ISD nominates them and supports them with all their votes like they do, then they will obviously be elected. I don't see that the rest of us have enough votes to overcome their influence on this process.
I think, and you could correct me on this, I think that the ISD, GISD can be assured with 3, possibly with 4. It's almost, I mean, they have 3,100 votes or something like that, and it takes 834 per person to be assured. So they assured for 3, so, and possibly for 4.
Yeah, you're correct, Mayor. I think the number is either, I don't have the exact number, so I think it's 938 938 votes. Just keep in mind, tonight, we're just making the nominations
Right.
to submit to the appraisal district by October 15th. And then at a later date, we'll cast the votes that the city has. I think the city has like 300 and something odd.
319.
319 to be exact. Thank you, Chris. We have 319 votes to cast on the different nominations. Now, it's true what the mayor's saying, that we can probably get one person if we're in coordination with the county votes. We could probably get one person on that way, but the majority of the votes are with the Granbury ISD.
Okay. Does anyone have anyone they want to nominate? We did hear Mr. Rodriguez say he was willing to serve again. Okay. Anyone want to nominate Mr. Rodriguez? No. Anyone want to nominate Mr. Rodriguez? We need to fill 5.
I would like to nominate Mr. Eddie Rodriguez.
Mr. Eddie Rodriguez, you getting this down? Okay.
Mayor, I'd like to make the nominations for all previous candidates that are in your package or previously. You have Monty Lewis, Rick Fry, myself, and then Ron Sutton.
You think it's appropriate that you nominate 4 without?
We're just nominating.
Oh, you're just nominating?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so you want to nominate Rick Fry, Ron Sutton, Eddie Rodriguez, and Mr. Monty Lewis?
That's correct.
Okay.
And I second that.
Okay. Mr. Corrigan? Anyone? Anyone come to mind? Mr. Wadley, anybody else? Ms. Burwell, Ms. Vale? I have one individual that I wanted to, Mr. Greg Harrell, Harrell. He's a U.S. Coast Guard Academy grad and also an executive of Class 1 Freight Railroads. He's currently retired here in Hood County since 2001. Okay. Any other nominations? That's 5 or 6? That's 5.
6.
Anybody else?
That's 6.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5.
5.
Yeah.
Eddie nominated 4.
Mark Jackson decided not to. There's 5. There's only 4 on their board.
Who'd you nominate?
Steve
Stephen?
nominated Eddie, but
Oh,
Eddie
gotcha.
also nominated himself and 3 others.
Yes, so that's
So we had
5.
4, and then
So
the
we just
mayor
need another
nominated
Eddie.
Mr. Harrell.
So we got Eddie twice.
Yeah, it's Eddie twice.
Twice as much chance.
All right.
I think we have 5 members. Is that what you count, Mayor?
Yes. Right.
So,
We can
yeah.
nominate 5.
That's correct.
Okay. More. Okay.
Who did you?
Mr. Greg Harrell.
Who is the incumbent? Who is the incumbent that is not being nominated?
Mark Jackson.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
there's, Mark Jackson
chose
has already
not to.
said that he's not running.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's an open seat. Ron Sutton, Monty Lewis, myself, and Rick Fry are the incumbents.
Gotcha. Thank
So
you.
that leaves an open seat.
So the 5th one is yours, yeah.
Yeah, it's Mr. Harrell. Okay, got it? Got it. Okay, so we have that done. We can now adopt resolution number 23-22 to submit the names of said candidates to the chief appraiser of the Hood Central Appraisal District. The names that we are submitting are Mr. Rick Fry, Mr. Ron Sutton, Mr. Eddie Rodriguez, Mr. Monty Lewis, and Mr. Greg Harrell.
So moved.
Mr. Vale makes a motion to approve that resolution.
Second.
Mr. Corrigan seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Passes 6-0. See what happens when staff doesn't give us all the background and notice and everything? Oh, we have another public hearing. 7.13. Consider adopting ordinance number 23-74, extending a moratorium through October 4, 2024 within the eastern corporate city limits and the extraterritorial jurisdictional limits of Granbury on all applications for plats as authorized by law and notice pursuant to the Texas local government codes. Mr. Kaufman or Ms. Wawi could cover this?
We'll take care of it.
Okay.
This is renewing the ordinance that we have. That's kind of where we're at.
Nothing
Not
different?
much sense in elaborating on that. We've been down this road once or twice before, so we still don't have the capacity or the permit cleared from the appeal process.
Okay. This is a public hearing. I'll open the public hearing. Anyone want to speak? I see no one standing, so I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. Do I hear a motion to adopt ordinance number 2374, extending a moratorium through October 4, 2024 within the eastern corporate city limits and the extraterritorial jurisdictional limits of Granbury on all applications for plats as authorized by law and notice pursuant to Texas Local Government Codes 212.134. A motion?
So moved.
Mr. Corrigan?
Second.
Mr. Rodriguez seconds. Discussion? Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. I hear no nays. It is approved 6-0. Okay. We have another public notice, 7.14, a public hearing. Consider adopting ordinance number 2375, extending the moratorium through October 4, 2024 within the central and western corporate city limits and the extraterritorial jurisdictional limits of Granbury on all applications for plats as authorized by law and noticed pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 212.134. No new news on that one, Mr. Kaufman?
Nope, same song.
Same
third
song.
verse.
Okay. Comments, Mr. Wadley? No? Okay. Do I hear a motion to a public hearing? Anyone want to speak on this? No? I'm going to close the public hearing. Do I hear a motion to adopt ordinance number 2375, extending the moratorium through October 4th, 2024 within the central and western corporate city limits and the extraterritorial jurisdictional limits of Granbury on all applications for plats as authorized by law and notice pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 212.134.
So moved.
Ms. Burwell moves.
Second.
Mr. Wadley seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. That will pass 6-0. Okay, now we have discuss and consider 7.15, discuss and consider the interlocal agreement with Hood County relating to plan review and approval of plats and the development of the extraterritorial jurisdiction and authorize the city manager to execute the proposed amended interlocal agreement. Mr. Kaufman.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. As you are aware, I've had 2 meetings with county officials, today being the second one, and we were able to have their planner, Mr. Clint Head, and their road and bridge man that coordinates all the paving projects throughout the county, for the county, in attendance with the county judge and another commissioner. So we're fortunate to be able to report to you today that we discussed this agreement. We've made a couple of changes. I've given you a handout based on of the actual amended agreement that's been agreed to informally by county attorney looking over it with the city attorney. I think it's a basic agreement that instead of the city reviewing the projects in the ETJ, the plats, this new amended agreement will allow the county to do that and to exercise their exclusive jurisdiction to regulate the plats, subdivision plats, development plats, approve related permits in the ETJ of the city. Exclusive of those areas, the ETJ jurisdiction established by a volunteer joinder into the city's ETJ. In other words, a voluntary part. We do have one of those, the Knox Ranch property, and there may be a couple others we've got to research even more. Also, if it's under some kind of an annexation agreement, due to previous annexations. Those would be subject to us reviewing those plats as well with our subdivision regulations. And then we're going to rely on our GIS mapping to delineate the above referenced exclusions apart from the remaining ETJ, and that will give the county something to work with when they receive a plat. They can verify that it is not one of those areas. And also we added, as required by Section 242.001C of the Local Government Code, the city agrees to notify the county of any expansion or reduction of the city's ETJ, and this shall be accomplished by regularly updating the city of Granbury's GIS mapping system available online to the county. In other words, as people come in and ask to be disannexed from the ETJ, it really doesn't matter to us because we have no platting responsibilities in those areas. But if they continue to want to be out of the area, this allows us just to simply update our map and conform with those laws related to that disannexation process. And then the county will be able to pull up the ETJ map at their convenience and look what is and what is not in the city ETJ. And this agreement does not extend liability to the parties. Neither the city nor the county shall indemnify the other, nor waives any immunity or defenses available. And also, the county shall enforce the county's current and any subsequent thoroughfare plans. We discovered today that they have one. They have not been enforcing it, but they have agreed to enforce it. And their thoroughfare plan coincidentally matches the city's thoroughfare plan that we have in our website. And so that's a big win for us. We learned that today in the meeting. And so we were happy to be able to add that to this new agreement. Now then, should you move forward and approve this agenda item, we will present this at the court's convenience when they put it on their agenda. We anticipate that will be their next meeting next week, but we need to get it to them in the morning if we're going to do that. So be happy to answer any questions. Jeremy was very instrumental in all of this and drafted these changes today that are reflected on this document instead of what's in your agenda packet in response to the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, have any questions for staff?
Just comment.
Mr. Vail?
I had the opportunity to be in that meeting as well as the prior meeting. Chris, I just thank you and the staff for doing a great job, and Jeremy just getting this agreement together in time for council this evening. And as Chris said, it was a good working session today. Good to understand the thoroughfare plan. I think that helps us a lot as we move forward together. We'll have another intergovernmental meeting with the county, and I think we're making some good progress. As some of the challenges and issues that we have are ones that we share together. So it was a good session today, and I'm happy to see this tonight. Thank you.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yeah, I just want to piggyback on what Mr. Bell stated. I just want to say thank you to all the city attorney, the city manager, and all the staff that was involved putting this together and thinking about what about this, what about that, and different scenarios that came out of it. And most of those were mitigated and those were talked through. And thank you for doing your due diligence on for the city part of it. It takes a lot of outside thinking of what could happen to protect the city in this type of circumstances. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to add too that I thank Mr. Rodriguez and Mr. Vail for attending these additional meetings there, because their comments, and their questions, raised questions on the other side of the table where we had the county. We can't have but 3 council members in the back. We can't have a quorum, nor could they have a quorum. But the input from these guys made this it was a very, very beneficial meeting. When they brought out the thoroughfare plan, and the engineer discussed with us that not only does it match, it matches down the center line and on the easements. So it's really a valuable piece of work. In fact, I think City Attorney Sorrell here was making sure that everything was kosher. In fact, got a photo of their document, and we will have that put into a digitized form very quickly. That was an eye opener and a great find. Thank you, Mr. Kaufman.
I would like to add that a big driver behind this are those petitions behind Senate Bill 2038. I received one yesterday that the person has actually hired a consultant and they submitted the petition. And when I saw the address, I had to verify my thinking, but it is not located in the ETJ. So there are people that are being talked into filling out the petition and signing it and paying $400 or $500 fee to this individual to move forward. And I would just caution the public, if you're going to do it, make sure that you are located within the ETJ of the city. It's unfortunate that there's that going on, but this hopefully will relieve the tension between the citizens and the city over subdivision platting issues in the ETJ. That's the only control that the city is authorized to do under the current agreement, is at the request of the county years ago, the city took that role. By removing that role from the city, it will reduce the amount of work that our planning department does, and I hope that it will reduce not having to fill the vacant position for a planner. We will see about that in the days to come as this moves forward, but a lot of work goes into the ETJ development by our staff in the past, and so we'll see what happens. Just like tonight, that 600 and something home subdivision is in the ETJ, and had this gone through differently, that probably would have saved at least 100 hours of work for our staff, maybe more overall. So we'll see if there's a savings. We'll try to be efficient and accommodate what we need to do for our citizens, and that's all on this agreement. So.
Thank you. So, do I hear a motion to authorize the interlocal agreement with Hood County relating to plan review and approval of the plats and the development in the extraterritorial jurisdiction, and authorize the city manager to execute the proposed amended interlocal agreement?
So moved.
Mr. Vail, Mr. Rodriguez, did you have a question or a second? I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Okay. It is approved 6-0. Go for it, Mr. Kaufman. That'll be good. Now I'm going to go ahead and, instead of going to or covering this in our executive session, instead of, well, then we have this, don't you want to cover this right here now instead of number 8? Okay. We're going to delay number 8 while we open up. One of the items on the executive session is personnel matters, discuss cost of living adjustment for all employees. We're just going to handle that right here on the dais, if that works for everyone. So I see Mr. Ross at the podium here.
Yeah, I'll turn it over to Michael Ross, our Deputy City Manager in charge of HR.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Ross.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. We did just want to bring this to you this evening. You may recall you included a 4% cost of living allowance increase for all staff. We talked about it through the budget workshop and then through the budget approval process. Tonight's agenda item was just to make sure that everyone understood when we were talking about all employees, we wanted you all to concur that it also meant your appointed employees, which is your city manager, your city secretary, and your municipal judges, that the 4% applies to them as well. And we didn't want to just assume that, so we wanted to bring that to you this evening in total transparency, just to discuss that first before we prepare their personnel action requests along with all the others.
In addition, we felt like, since this is the first time I've been involved with COLA with the city of Granbury, that I felt like it needed to be voted on separately than just adopting the budget.
Right.
If it was a merit-based pay, that falls into the administration and the discernment area, and that lies with my office, and so that's why we needed to bring this as well.
Correct.
Okay.
So I think we were wanting to go ahead and get a vote on that, Chris or Jeremy? Okay, thank you.
Okay. So there are comments or any questions from staff on this? No. This is all in the budget. We did have in the budget, but this, as you say, is the COLA amount of that. You want to just make sure that we are all in agreement.
Yes, sir.
How would that motion sound, Ms. Burwell?
I haven't written it yet.
You haven't written it yet. How would that
So
motion sound?
you would want a motion that the 4% COLA would apply to appointed employees as well.
Okay.
As well?
As well,
I'd
okay.
like to cover both, please, if you're going to do it.
And that's a January 1?
No, it's
No.
October.
October 1. Mhm.
Well, you gave me the percentage.
Let's say 4%
Yes.
to
So we voted,
appointed
we changed it to percent for
regular
employees.
Say it again.
We were fine on that. Keeps it from there.
4% COLA.
Hey, Mayor, can I just ask, Chris, when do we implement that new, that salary budget for all employees? And
So we did the survey and the study and the reporting and implemented it January 1st.
okay, oh, this year?
This year, yes, sir.
Okay.
Other comments, questions? Well. Okay. Making sure the motion is all appropriate and inclusive.
We waiting for,
Yes.
Attorney.
Ms. Burwell did not have it completed in timely fashion.
thanks a lot, Ms. Burwell.
The reference to Ms. Burwell is a pro tem. One of the responsibilities that they assume is to, as you each know, we go into executive session. Yes, there will be discussions about, attorneys pending contemplated litigation that you really wouldn't want to have out here in front, but we could take no action. We take action only here in the front. So when a discussion would lead to an action item, that action item has to be converted into a motion, and that motion goes to our pro tem to make the motion when we come out of executive session. So, Ms. Burwell, do you want to read this, or do you want? Well, here, please.
I don't know if you can.
Oh, I'll try.
All right.
No, I did not bring my best. I can't. Just be quiet.
Ms. Burwell?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that the 4% COLA shall be applicable to all employees, including appointed positions and regular employees.
Second.
Motion has been made. Motion is seconded by Mr. Vail. Discussion? Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. I hear no nays. It's approved 6-0. Thank you, Ms. Burwell. Appreciate it. And now we move to number 8. Ms. Walker, do we have anyone who signed up? We have no one who has signed up. All right. So, yes. I'm sorry, I did not hear or
He
understand.
stated he needed assistance to fill out his form because his hand was numb. So that's what he was stating. Is that correct, Mr.? We still need you to fill out a form, so if you could, we can assist you up here if you could provide that information to Carla.
Okay.
His hand-
Do you need to turn in a form to Carla or what, to work with her on getting that done? Okay? Okay. I'll go ahead and, here, she's right here. She's right here, Mr. Beard. going to go ahead and note the rules. Speakers have a time limit of 3 minutes for a combined total of 30 minutes, which we have one. Okay. Allotted this time for comments regarding the matters not listed on the agenda. City Council will be allowed to receive input or information for future agenda items, will not be allowed to enter into any discussions. And then we have a number of rules about the presentation itself. You present to the mayor or the presiding officer, whoever that may be. At this point in time, it's the mayor. You do not call out any of our council members by name or by pointing or by motion. You do not stomp your feet. You do not carry signs. You do not get overly excited and wave your arms. Those are in our rules.
Don't forget city staff rules.
And city staff, well, yeah, city staff has to adhere to the same thing. We all adhere to the same thing. Okay. Good? Okay. Thank you, sir. I have Mr. Charles Beard, and Mr. Beard, if you'll just introduce yourself and give us your address, please.
My name is Charles Beard. I live at 1420 Seabiscuit Drive, Granbury.
Okay.
I just wanted to, first of all, thank the council for everything that they've been doing. I know it's been diligent and hard and everything else. I just want to bring to the attention, I've probably spoken to at least 500 individuals here in this in the city. One of the major issues that they are concerned about is the continual development of residential. So I just want to bring it to your attention. It's something that's been brought up to me continually, and whether it needs to be educated with the public as far as the infrastructure and stuff, I just wanted to bring it to your attention, that's all. So thank you for everything you're doing. That's it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Beard. We appreciate the input. Cannot respond, as hope you understand. Okay. I want to move to number 9, the executive session. We will have discussion of matters permitted by the following sections of the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. 9.1 will be Section 551.071, consultation with attorney, pending or contemplated litigation. 9.2, Section 551.072, deliberation regarding real property. And we have taken care of 9.3 here in open session. So we'll go to 9.4, Section 551.087, deliberation regarding economic development negotiations. I now declare that City Council of Granbury is in executive session. I now declare Granbury City Council is convened in open session that all members are present. There is no action taken in closed session, and all council members are present. There being no further business, I announce the meeting adjourned.